Alright, what's up guys? Today I'm going to talk about how I play solos so far this mini season. I'm going to keep it short and summarize with the gameplay in the background just so you guys know what my thoughts are when I'm playing. So first of all, let's start with what is clearly missing in this mini season: mobility. As you all know, there are no sure ways to get shockwaves this mini season, and in comparison to last season, there are no kneecap or bats or drills too. So the only way to get mobility this season is to open as many chests as you can and pray for shockwaves, or you wait until the Jedi and Sith NPC spawn in and you go learn their abilities and use it with a lightsaber. And because of that, my main priority when it comes to solos this season is really just getting to a car. Now, cars spawn all over the map, but I also do not want to waste time looting for minis and big pots. So I tend to drop at a spot where cars and slurp trucks spawn, and that cuts down my potential drop spots to only 3. One would be the northeast of Flooded Frogs, another one would be the training area near where Fletcher Kane spawned towards the end of last season, and finally the dam over at Foxy Floodgates. Now, any one of these are fine, to be honest. It's up to preference, but personally I always drop at Foxy Floodgates because of the point that I'm going to speak, which is point number 2, the Mythic AR, aka the A280 blaster. So how you get the Mythic AR this mini season is you have to capture it off the train, which is exactly like what we had in Chapter 6 Season 1. Unfortunately, the train this mini season does not have a fixed spawn or a pattern of travel, so it can just spawn anywhere, and it can just go clockwise or counterclockwise. It's really random. But to put myself in the best position to chase after this Mythic AR, no matter what the spawn and route is, I really have to drop right in the middle of the map, and for that reason I go straight towards Foxy Floodgates. Whenever I take this route, 90% of the games I'm in, I'm usually able to capture the train or take out the person who landed on the train and started the capture of the train. I'm usually not afraid to take this fight because I know that the person who dropped right on the train of the battle bus did not have time to loot for shield or good weapons. And coming off the slurp truck off of Foxy Floodgates, I have roughly 100 HP advantage over them, and usually this is enough for me to take them out. After I secure the Mythic AR, my next focus would be to capture the forecast towers. So you guys are probably aware of this by now, but there are 5 possible forecast tower locations, and it's always a combination of one of the northern half of the map and one of the southern half of the map. Usually I'm able to spot them before I drop from the battle bus, but if the battle bus does not travel in a route that makes this possible, I will just stay in the center of the map until I can hit straight to a forecast tower when they spawn. There are 2 reasons why I always make it a point for me to take the forecast tower. Number 1 would obviously be the storm forecast, and number 2, the NPCs drop either a chug jug or 3 big pots, and this saves me a lot of time from having to loot for heals and possibly getting third party. So once I'm done with that, I would have weapons and heals already, so the only thing I would have to loot for would be mobility items. In a perfect world I would have shockwaves, but getting shockwaves is really game to game. None of the loot is guaranteed, but what is guaranteed is the spawning of the Sith and Jedi NPCs, and usually I try to go for the Darth Maul ability and lightsaber. But again, this really comes down to game by game. Every situation is different. You just have to make do of what is available to you. Now this middle part of the game is quite a critical point because what your loadout is at this point in the game really defines how you play the rest of the game. I've played my number of solo games, and it really comes down to 2 types of situation. If I get a lightsaber, I will be rocking a shotgun, a spray weapon, a lightsaber, and shockwaves, so that makes 2 mobility items, and the last slot will be heals. And I will use movements to make every fight a close range fight. Or situation number 2, if I do not get a lightsaber, I will rock 3 weapons, so a shotgun, an AR, and a DMR. And the other 2 slots would be just shockwaves and heals. And if I'm rocking this loadout, I will try to make every fight a long range fight where I chip away my opponent's HP with the DMR. And once I hit above 150 HP, then I shockwave and finish him with a shotgun and spray. And again, this really comes down to game by game, so there's no saying one certain loadout you want to stick with. You just have to make that decision based on the situation you're in. At this point in the game, your cars are probably shot out or you're running out of gas, so you are probably in dire need of a gas station. One big change they have made to the map since the Lawless season is they do not show the gas stations on the map anymore unless you're in a car that needs refilling or mending. So unfortunately, this means you have to memorize all the positions of the gas stations on the map. Fortunately, I'm here to provide you that info. This might blow your mind, but there are only 4 gas stations in the whole map, and they are all on the northern half of the map. Now this is something you really have to keep in mind, because if you have a game where a storm is pulling south, the time you mend your car during the middle stages of the game is probably the last time you're able to do this, so use your car carefully there on out. If you have no more cars in a game where a storm is pulling south, you should probably have bunkers in your loadout. Next, let's talk about the Shogun X Island. I have mentioned before in previous videos, but I really do not care about the Shogun X medallion. In my mind, they dropped the ball with this medallion. They really should have reverted it back to the infinite sprint medallion that we had in Chapter 6 Season 1, because that would mean so much in a mobility cap season like this mini season. Now, since I do not care about the medallion, I will just take the island for height and just to survey where everyone is. I'm not going to fight Shogun X because I don't want to give away my position, and I will also not care about fighting anyone on the island because of how little control I have over the hovering movements that you get from the wind surrounding the island. If you have made it this far, all you have to worry about is how to play the endgame. The next storm will be far away from the island, so prepare yourself to rotate over first to get cover before everyone else. And if you played everything I have mentioned above correctly, you probably have a very good chance of winning the game. In summary, know what you want to do at every stage of the game, and make sure you put yourself in the best position to do exactly what you want to do. And for this, you need a good knowledge of the map, so I recommend heading over to fortnite.gg and memorizing every detail of the map. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this.